Hi everybody and welcome to today's live lesson with Naomi. Welcome everyone to Merseyside Publishing. My name is Naomi. I'm a native qualified English teacher, and if you haven't joined my lessons before, then welcome. And this is part of an ongoing series of advanced lessons, presentations, to help you get the highest band score you can possibly get in your English IELTS exam. As we know, the IELTS exam is the International English Language testing system, and it's really necessary to have if you're thinking of working or studying in countries like Australia, New Zealand, most recently the USA, Canada. So we really need to make sure that you've understood which IELTS exam you need, and you know exactly what it is you need to do to get those high band scores, right? We all want to get, of course, the highest mark possible. Now we're just going to remind ourselves, okay, what do we actually need to do in order to get a high band score? What is a high band score? Sorry about that. A high band score is, they just do it by bands, right? So they start from 1 and up to 9. 9 is the highest band score that you can get. So we all want to, of course, get this high band if possible. Now there's 4 areas that you will be marked on. Okay, 4 areas. It's really important to know these because in order to do well, you need to write specifically. This is the area we're focusing on today. You need to write with these criteria in mind. So the 4 areas are task response. What does that mean? Basically, you have to answer the question. You need to fully respond to all areas of the task. If they ask you to compare and evaluate, you can't just compare, for example. Or if they ask you about the benefits of renewable energy, but also taking into account the other side, you need to do everything the question says. So that's task response. The second one, coherence and cohesion. So your essay needs to be well structured. The third one is what we call lexical resource, essentially using a wide range of appropriate advanced vocabulary. And then the fourth one is grammatical range and accuracy. As we were talking about in my last lesson, of course, it's important to be accurate, and the more we practice and the more advanced you get in your English language skills, the more accurate you will become. But range is more important. So we need to be using lots of different sentence structures and types of tenses, that kind of thing. But today we're going to go back and we're having a look at the third criteria. So lexical resource. Basically, which words are you using? Let me just share this with you to show you what you will need to get the top band score. I know you all want to get the top band score. Who wouldn't? So I'm showing you exactly here. Now, it looks like a lot of writing, doesn't it? But basically, you need to use a wide range of vocabulary with very natural and sophisticated control of lexical features. When it says lexical features, it just means words, right? So it needs to be natural. By natural, they mean you need to be using the right word in the right sentence. We'll be looking at that more specifically later with something called collocations. These are words that naturally go together. So if we don't learn our collocations, we can't get this high band score. Yeah, if we don't learn our collocations, we can't get the high band score. Why? Because collocations are when words naturally go together. It sounds natural to a native speaker, and it's how we would speak or write in English. So we've got natural and sophisticated, right? We need to have advanced vocabulary, which is adequate for the topic that you were given. Again, same point that I made on Wednesday in my last lesson. It says here, rare minor errors occur only as slips. So basically, even in the top bands, even in the 9 band score, you are allowed to make a few small mistakes. So what is this telling us? Why am I drawing attention to this? Well, because range is more important than accuracy. So if you have a sophisticated word that you are not sure how to use, but you think, okay, a lot of my other words are not as advanced. I need to include some more advanced vocabulary in this topic, then use it. Be brave. You are allowed a few mistakes. But they're not even, you're allowed a few mistakes or words that wouldn't naturally go together, so that there wouldn't be collocations. Great. So let's have a look in more detail at our topic for today. We're looking again at task 2 of our IELTS exam, okay? Task 2 of our writing, the writing section. As we know, in task 2, you will have to write an essay. It will need to be a minimum of 250 words. If not, you will get penalised. You will have marks removed. So let's have a look at some advanced vocabulary for technology. Now, we're looking at technology today, but really these types of vocabulary can be used in a wide range of topics. So don't feel like, okay, I know a lot about technology, I'm not going to watch, because these phrases really a lot of them can be used in any context. Okay, we're just having the context today of technology. So guys, my main tip for you, just like I said before, use collocations. Use collocations. What is a collocation? Does anybody know what is a collocation? Write it in the chat if you think you do. Well, a collocation is a phrase or a few words that naturally go together in English. For example, rainy day. Okay, we're going to look at lots of these today, so you'll become more familiar with them. So we're going to have a look at a few collocations in the technology context. Now, if you're watching this at home, please get out a notepad and write these down. You can use them in your essay. They are an excellent resource. You heard it here today, okay? So we have the first one, sophisticated modern technology. This is a collocation because these words often go together and it sounds natural as a phrase. Let's think of a sentence example. Sophisticated modern technology has enabled us to live lives in greater comfort than our ancestors. Okay, sophisticated modern technology has allowed us to live our lives in greater comfort than our ancestors. So just a little phrase there. Now, the reason it's a collocation is that we want to avoid kind of using other words instead of sophisticated. You can, but this is a lovely little phrase that will sound very natural together, which is what you want for those high band marks. Okay, next one. Spend quality time together. This one is maybe not as advanced, but it's very, very important if you want to sound natural in English. Do we say take quality time together? Make quality time together? Bring quality time together? No. Spend quality time together. Spanish speakers, for example, and from some other languages will often say, bring quality time together. I love bringing quality time together with my family. No, always spend. Okay, welcome to everybody that is joining us now. Lovely to have you here. Okay, our next or let's think of a sentence that we could use in an advanced essay. So we could say, one huge drawback of handheld technology, so I don't have my phone here, but our phones, right? One huge drawback of handheld technology is that it prevents young people from spending quality time with their families. It prevents young people from spending quality time with their families. Maybe not just young people, but everyone, right? We can all get quite addicted to our handheld devices, to our phones. All right, so that's one. Next one. Face-to-face interactions. Now, this one is very relevant, especially in the current context, because we have face-to-face interactions, and then the opposite might be a virtual meeting or virtual interactions. You can also talk about socially distanced interactions, which would be face-to-face, but at a distance, right? So this is actually a really great one and very relevant to technology. We often talk about face-to-face interactions. Let's think of a nice advanced sentence that could go with this. We could say, due to our heavy dependence on face-to-face interactions, due to our heavy dependence on handheld technology, our face-to-face interactions are being severely reduced. Yeah, due to our heavy dependence on handheld technology, face-to-face interactions are decreasing rapidly. Something like this. Okay, next one, we have a sedentary lifestyle. Now, I really like this one, and I chose this one because it is very advanced. Yeah, sedentary is a very advanced word, and it's perfect for your essay because in your essay, this is the perfect time to be using that advanced vocabulary, which maybe might not sound as natural in your spoken part of the exam, for example, but is absolutely fantastic in the written part. Okay, so let's have a look at our next one. We have a damaging effect. Right, a damaging effect. What does that mean? Something that hurts or has a negative impact. A negative impact would be another collocation, actually, a damaging effect or a negative impact. All right, so we might even have this in a question. And the really important skill that we need to have, which we're going to have a look at in a minute, actually, and you guys are going to have a go at doing this. You'll have the chance to try this yourselves. So we need to be able to rephrase in the English IELTS exam. What do I mean by rephrase? Well, you need to be able to repeat the meaning of something in your own words, in different words. When will you need to do this? Well, for example, in the when you're asked the question at the beginning of the writing exam, you might have, for example, a statement that says, smartphones have an overwhelmingly damaging effect on our younger generations. Smartphones have an overwhelmingly damaging effect on younger generations. Okay, you will need to use those ideas in your essay multiple times. And as we know, the first sentence in our essay, the first sentence in the task 2 essay is basically rephrasing the question. So I can't use the same words as in the question. I won't get marks if I'm just copying. It's not going to get me those high band scores. All right, so this is where we need to know things like a damaging effect is the same as a harmful effect or a negative impact. Yeah. So let's have a look at the next one. So we have got damaging effects. Next one, interestingly, geographical barriers. Geographical barriers. Okay, so what kind of examples of geographical barriers can you give? Well, we might have borders, or we might have mountains, we might have rivers. We often talk about geographical barriers when, in the context of the internet, not everybody can access physical locations, can they? For example, maybe some people living in more rural areas may not be able to access education facilities or anything else where the internet can kind of replace that. So we might say the internet can be a great substitute where geographical barriers prevent people from accessing information. Okay, the internet may be a great alternative when geographical barriers prevent people from accessing information. All right, any questions about any of these guys, please just put them in the comments. Or if you want me to repeat the pronunciation, then please also just write that in the comments. Next one, we have health implications. Health implications. What could be another way of describing this? Well, the effects or the impacts of something on our well-being, on our health. But we often use these words together. For anybody joining now, we're looking at collocations, so words in English that go together naturally. So don't just learn one of these words, learn them together. This will get you those high band scores. All right, health implications. Let's get a nice sentence, example sentence that you could use. So, for example, the health implications of GM food, genetically modified food. That's also technology, isn't it? Not always just smartphones and the internet. The health implications of GM food are disastrous. Okay, that's quite a nice sentence. It's a simple sentence. Like we were talking about on Wednesday, which sentence structures do I need to use in my essay? All of them, as many as you know, including questions, use them all. Variety will get you those top band scores, a wide range of structures. And it's the same with vocab. Okay, we need a wide range and we need them to sound natural. What does that mean? Using collocations, using them in the right context. So I went off on a tangent there. I'm sorry. Health implications. Great. Next one. We've got a few more and then we're going to do a little kind of quiz. All right. Oh, no, we haven't got any more. So we're just going to analyse a little section of the written essay. Okay, Manpreet is saying repeat them a few times. Manpreet, at the end of the lesson, I'll go back and repeat the pronunciation of each one. Okay, at the end of the lesson, I will go back and repeat each collocation. Right, for now, we have a part of an essay. This is from the main body of the essay. It's not the introduction, it's from the main body. We're just going to analyse some of the vocabulary and collocations here. So I'll read it out to you. This is largely because the popularity of technology, such as cell phones, allows people to connect freely and easily with no geographical barriers. People are able to share any type of news, information, photos and opinions with their loved ones whenever and wherever they want, therefore keeping a feeling of proximity and closeness. For example, an extensive study by Oxford University illustrated that people who work or study abroad and use applications like FaceTime and WhatsApp to chat with their families are less likely to experience loneliness than those who do not. Consistent with this line of thinking is that businessmen are also undoubtedly able to benefit from these advances by holding virtual real-time meetings using Skype, which may increase the chances of closing business deals without the need to fly. All right, so we've got some great vocabulary here. Where are the collocations? Well, we have quite a long collocation here. Connect freely and easily. Connect freely and easily, and we have the one that we looked at before, geographical barriers. Here we have proximity and closeness. Proximity and closeness. That feeling that you are near to somebody, you are close to somebody. Oh, we all miss that a little bit now, don't we? Likely to experience loneliness. This could be another one. So what we're now going to do is have a look and see if you can remember the collocations that we just used. What were the ones we just used? So this is largely because the popularity of technologies such as cell phones allows people to, let's have a look, connect freely and easily with no geographical barriers. Connect freely and easily with no geographical barriers. Okay, next one. People are able to share any type of news, information, photos and opinions with their loved ones whenever and wherever they want, therefore keeping a feeling of, what was this one we just did? Keeping a feeling of closeness and proximity. Keeping a feeling of closeness and proximity, of being near to somebody. Okay. Great, we can just check that again. Yeah, proximity and closeness. So what about the last one? What about the last one we have? So certain people who use applications like FaceTime and WhatsApp to chat with their families are less, what are they? I think we're going to have likely here. So if you use FaceTime or WhatsApp, are you less likely to feel loneliness or not? What do we think? They're less likely to experience loneliness. Okay, less likely to experience loneliness. It's good to know here the different types of words. Okay, many people will know the adjective lonely. I feel lonely. Yeah, meaning I feel alone. There is nobody here. I feel lonely. And then we have the noun, the concept, often where if there's a Y, we change it into an I and we add ness. Like here, loneliness. Same with happy, happy, happiness. Or cheeky, cheeky becomes cheekiness. So it's good to know those little tricks to change the type of word that you need, because we need to have the right type of word in each part of the sentence. Right? So now, great, thank you. I've got a few people guessing that the second one, proximity and closeness. Well done. So why don't we just have a look back at the collocations, and then we're going to go on to the next section. So let's review. Let's review. We're looking at some technology collocations. Number 1, sophisticated modern technology. Sophisticated modern technology. What does this mean? It is advanced, up-to-date technology. Modern is a word we use a lot, so we want to know some synonyms. Modern, up-to-date, the newest. These are all good ones. Okay, number 2. Spend quality time together. Spend quality time together. What are the common errors with this one? A common error is bring time together. No, not bring time together. Spend time together. Can I say give time together or take time together? No, spend quality time together. Always spend quality time together. All right, next one. Number 3, face-to-face interactions. Face-to-face interactions. Okay, we can also use these two words separately. A face-to-face meeting, but they're very common together. So this is a lovely little phrase to learn. Face-to-face interactions. An interaction is just any kind of meeting or encounter that you have with somebody. Okay, number 4, a sedentary lifestyle. A sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary lifestyle. Lifestyle is a word that we can use in almost any topic of IELTS. Why? Because any topic they give you should be relevant to and should affect your lifestyle. They are intended to be relevant topics. What does it mean, sedentary? It is what I am doing now. I am leading a sedentary lifestyle. Oh, it is not very physical. I am not moving around. I'm sitting on my computer for long periods of time. So sedentary just means sitting down. Okay? I right now am sedentary. So a sedentary lifestyle is not very active. I'm not moving around a lot. If we work from home, often we lead a sedentary lifestyle. This is an advanced one, and this is a lovely one to use. Okay, that was number 4, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, that was number 4. So we have number 5, a damaging effect. A damaging effect. For example, phones have an overwhelmingly damaging effect on children. Now, do you see how I changed the article there? Phones have an overwhelmingly damaging effect. I have used an adjective here, overwhelmingly. In fact, no, I've used an adverb, haven't I? I've used an adverb here. Now, the adverb starts with what letter? With O, overwhelmingly. So now the article an or a matches overwhelmingly. An overwhelmingly damaging effect. Great. Number 6. Geographical barriers. Geographical barriers. For example, mountains, rivers, these kinds of things which block people off from other parts of the world. And last one, number 7, I think. Is it 7? Health implications. Health implications. So my health is my well-being. Am I healthy? Is my body in a good condition? So a synonym of health is well-being. Well-being. That's probably the most common one. And then implications is just the effects or the outcomes. We might say the outcomes or the effects of something. So should we do a sample, an example sentence with health implications? Okay. For example, the health implications of having our phones with us all the time are disastrous. The health implications of having our phones with us all the time are disastrous. Okay, so the effects or the impact is disastrous. It's very bad. Let's give another example. I might use this in the singular. Okay, so no S. If I use it in the singular, I could say one main health implication of using our phones a lot is that our quality of sleep is affected. Okay, one health implication of using our phones a lot is that our quality of sleep is affected. That is the impact, that's the effect of using our phones a lot. I don't know if you agree with that. This definitely affects me. It's hard to sleep well if you're on your phone a lot, isn't it? Okay, we've done this. So now we're having a little quiz. So can you rephrase the following technology collocations and words? Let's have a look. Can you rephrase them? So let's just have a look at this a little bit more. Why do we need to rephrase them? Well, in your exam, you need to constantly rephrase things. In the speaking section, if you are asked a question, in your answers, use synonyms, use other words which mean the same thing. In your writing, you must use synonyms and other words, especially in your first sentence of that essay, where you are just rephrasing the question. You want to use your own words. This is why we are doing this exercise. Right? This is a very helpful exercise. So get yourself a pen and paper. Get yourself a pen and paper and write down what you think for each of these. And you can check when I reveal my my definitions, if yours are similar to them, if you've got the right kind of meaning there. So, getting some water. To do more harm than good. To do more harm than good. Well, what is harm? It's the opposite of good. It is damage. So I've actually rephrased this a little bit differently. This is quite a nice little phrase as well, so you can write this one down too. When the downsides outweigh the benefits. When the downsides outweigh the benefits. So, for example, let's imagine that the writing question is about GM food, genetically modified food. I could say, I strongly believe that GM food does more harm than good because blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that the bad things are more than the good things. Or I could say, I strongly believe that the downsides of GM food outweigh the benefits. These are two great phrases to have. Okay, so next one. Perpetually available. Perpetually available. What does this mean, perpetually available? Well, available is when something is there, kind of ready. You can take it or use it. Perpetually is, well, see if you can think of another way to say this. If you're watching it, you can pause when I put these up, take a little time to write down your suggestion, and then unpause, and you can see what I have written, what my suggestion is. Okay, other options are available. These are just my rephrasings of these phrases. Okay, so perpetually available could be, can always be contacted. Okay, can always be contacted. That's one kind of definition or another way to say it. Maybe we're not talking about contact as the type of availability, but it depends on the context. So I could say, for example, being perpetually available on our phones means that we don't ever really have free time. Do you think that's true? I kind of think that's true. Sometimes it feels like we have no free time because we are perpetually available. Okay, next one. Threatens. Okay. So, I was quite quick with that one, sorry there. Threatens or threaten could be to risk something. This is kind of one definition, but we could also say, for example, if we want to say GM food threatens a healthy ecosystem, then we do need to change it around a bit. We can't just replace it with risks. We'd have to say GM food risks damaging our ecosystem. So with a risk, we need to say exactly what the risk is, including the negative action. And with threaten, we are already implying a negative action there. I hope that's clear, but you can search these words separately to see what their difference is between them. Okay, next one. No longer the case. For example, it is no longer the case that Donald Trump is president of the United States of America. It is no longer the case. It is not true anymore. Okay, so in a technology context, we could say it is no longer the case that we can simply do everything with a pen and paper. Now it is essential for us to have access to the internet. So I'm going to repeat this one again. No longer the case. No longer the case. Right, next one. So not true anymore, it could be. All right, make sure you've got your pen and paper and you're writing down these options. Okay, so what we're doing is we're basically looking at these collocations and writing down synonyms, or we're rephrasing. So stay in touch. If I want to stay in touch with somebody, what does that mean, stay in touch? It means to maintain contact. To maintain contact or keep in touch. Here, we still have touch, don't we? So that's why I've said maintain contact. Replaces all of them there. All right, next one, indispensable element. Ooh, I like this one, indispensable element. For example, here's a complex sentence for you guys. Despite the fact that smartphones have become an indispensable element of our everyday lives, there are still major threats which we fail to address. A nice complex sentence. So, despite, if we start with despite, it's going to be a complex sentence. Despite the fact that what was it that I said? Despite the fact that smartphones have become an indispensable element of our daily lives, there are still many threats that we fail to address. There are still many threats that we fail to address. So let's have a look. A crucial part. A crucial or an essential part, we could say as well, essential part. All right, next one, shutting yourself off. Do you shut yourself off sometimes? I know I shut myself off sometimes. What do we mean by shutting yourself off? Isolating. Sometimes I do this. Sometimes I isolate myself. I shut myself off. So, for example, an example sentence, it is not healthy for young people to shut themselves off in their rooms all day. It is not healthy. Okay, a vocation. What is a vocation? It is a job or a calling. A job or a calling. So it's your career path, your career. My vocation is teaching English and playing violin. That's also my job. All right, next one. Filtering out. Filtering out. While you're thinking of your example, I will give you an example. It is sometimes tempting to filter out the negative reviews of state-of-the-art technology. It is sometimes tempting to filter out negative reviews of state-of-the-art technology. Okay, so what do we think it could be? Avoid, or I think even better than the one that I have said, ignore. To filter something out is to ignore something. You choose not to listen to it. Do you do this? I sometimes filter people out or filter things out of my life. Okay. I think we've just got a few more. So drastic sacrifices. What is a drastic sacrifice? Well, a drastic is something quite serious, and a sacrifice is something that you give up. You have to take away. So big cuts. We could say big cuts, or we could say significant changes, or big adaptations you have to make. These kind of things. Okay, thinking points. Thinking points. This is an interesting one and useful when we are evaluating a topic, working out our kind of favourite idea for something. Okay, so we could say key thinking points on this topic are related to, or key thinking points on this topic centre upon longevity, for example, how long people live. Maybe we're talking about health and technology. Centre on longevity and our ability to concentrate. Okay, key topics in this, key thinking points in this topic relate to longevity and our ability to concentrate. Just an example there of thinking points. So I'm just giving you a thinking point for the week before we finish the lesson. What do you think? Would you survive without your phone for 30 days? Let me know in the comments. Let me know, and I'll see if I can respond to some of your comments next time. Would you survive without your phone for 30 days? And if you had to do it, how would you survive? How would you carry on with your daily life? Very interesting. I think I would find it difficult to carry on with my daily life without my phone. Okay, everybody, that was everything for today. Thank you for joining. I hope that was helpful. It was a lot of very useful vocabulary. And if you want to see more, you can join my lessons every Wednesday and every Friday at 4 p.m. UK time, so GMT. You can translate that into your local area, and there are lots of other videos helping you to get the best mark possible on the MPub IELTS page. Thank you very much, guys. Have a lovely evening, morning, or day, depending on where you are. Bye, everybody.